Brain injuries are something that most people tend to forget about when they're talking about the NFL. Even at the college level, injuries happen more than people might think. While some people think that this should mean sports get outlawed because it's too dangerous, I think the opposite. NFL football players are protected by some of the best technology in the form of pads and helmets. I think that all levels of football should use the best stuff to avoid brain injuries. Also, in addition to the best technology, more rules should be in place to protect football players. Something that most people think of when football player gets hit in the head and they walk off the field normally is they're fine, everything's okay. But that's not always true. On all levels of football, um, people will get hit in the head and walk off fine, but it'll turn out they have a concussion. And according to UMPC Sports Medicine, 50% of concussions go unreported. This is a real problem, and I think the rules need to be implemented to better protect the players. If they make a rule, which is now in the NFL, that says something along the lines of if a player gets hit in the head, they should have to go through concussion protocol. With a rule like this, it protects the players more by not allowing them to play through a concussion. If a player gets a concussion and plays through it, it is similar to playing through a sprained ankle or any other sprained bone, meaning that you can play through it, but chances are it won't heal as you're playing through it, and it could even get worse. It getting worse could lead to a case of CTE, which refs, play, but with refs paying close attention along with coaches, it could lower the amounts of concussions that go unreported. Something that is a major topic of football is chronic traumatic empathy, or better known as CTE. CTE is something that wears down your brain and is caused by repeated blows to the head. Many players in the NFL have it, and many of them have it right now, probably without them even knowing it. While some people see this as an extremely bad thing, and it is an extremely bad thing. According to Barbara Morin, a researcher from Boston University, she says, as the level of play increases, so does the rates of CTE in players. In college, if you have the rates of CTE, about 90% of college players have CTE. That is insane. In the NFL, it jumps up to 99% of former players were found to have CTE. And if you were to play football at every level, including the professional level, of course you're going to take some hits to the head. Helmets are always improving in the NFL, and if you've gotten multiple concussions, you wear a special helmet. But why do you need a weight to get hit in the head and have a concussion to wear this helmet? That helmet should be the helmet that every player on every level wears if it is so good at protecting concussions, and it will eventually prevent CTE from happening more and more often. Some people might say that the league, all levels, NFL, college, and high school, does a poor job in protecting their players. I would argue the opposite. The NFL website says that, quote, the NFL enforces rule changes aimed at eliminating potential risky behavior that could lead to injuries. Once a rule is enforced at the highest level, then all the lower levels take a look at it, seeing if it is a problem for them or not, and then if it is, they'll implement it as a rule. An example of this is the wedge block on an NFL kick return. The NFL outlawed that in 2009. In high school, however, it's not as that big of a risk for high schoolers because we are not nearly as fast or as strong as the NFL players. So that is not outlawed in the NFL. Other than the wedge block, there have been multiple rule changes to better protect the player's safety and, more importantly, the head, really. Because brain injuries, they're just about the worst form of injury that you can undergo, and you don't even realize it at the time. Many anti concussion rules have been a major topic, and recently in 2013, the NCAA implemented their targeted rule. If a player hits somebody in the head, it results in a 15-yard penalty, and the player will get thrown out of the game. So that just helps eliminate the thought of people targeting and really enforces it to play the game safer. At the end of the day, some people just need to realize that football isn't as dangerous as they might think. It's dangerous when people play it dangerously, but if you coach people right, then the game will be much safer. Obviously, there will still be reckless people, but nothing will make the game 100% safe. Even with the game not being 100% safe, New rules are constantly being made to improve the life of players, and new technology is constantly being developed to also improve the safety of players. 3D printing technology is used for helmets. This makes it so the helmets fit perfectly and will better protect you against blows to your head. In conclusion, football has been dangerous and it can be dangerous if players decide to put themselves at risk and play reckless. With good coaching and proper teaching to the players, it could help them realize that they need to play the game the right way in order to improve their and other people's safety. Good coaching and new rules are a main way to do this. And in fact, every year at the start of the year, football season, our coach always tells us about new rules. Finally, the technology we have right now is the best there's ever been, and we should take advantage of it. We should use it if we have it. After all, our brain's health is at risk.